The NFL All-Decade team actually came out today, the day we're filming this on Monday, and I want to discuss it with you guys. Who got snubbed? Who do you think should be on there that shouldn't be on there, and who would you replace them for? After that, I want to talk about, I saw this on Twitter, I want to talk about some of the best rivalries by all-time greats that were lopsided. So 2 all-time great players at any sport where one just dominated the other. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hit those hard. You don't want to go anywhere. You are watching the 202 show. Welcome back to the 202 show. I'm your host, Ryan Saber. It is time to look at the NFL 2010's All-Decade team. I have the list in front of me, so we're going to go through this really quickly, and then we're going to break down who we think maybe got on that shouldn't have gotten on, or who we think missed the cut that should have been on. So I'm going to run through this very, very quickly and set up the wide view while I do, so I can see the live reactions, what you guys think. Quarterback, Tom Brady. And I will tell you if they're unanimous or not. Unanimously, quarterback Tom Brady, quarterback Aaron Rodgers, running back Frank Gore, Marshawn Lynch, Lasell McCoy, and Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson being unanimous. Wide receiver, Antonio Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, and a flex of Darren Sproles. Tight end, Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce, offensive tackle, Jason Peters, Tyron Smith, Joe Staley, Joe Thomas being unanimous. Mm-hmm. Guard, Jahari Evans, Logan Menken, Zach Martin, Marshall Yanda being unanimous. Center, Alex Mack and Marquise Pouncey. On defense, defensive end, Calais Campbell, Cameron Jordan, Julius Peppers, J.J. Watt being unanimous. Defensive tackle, Geno Atkins, Fletcher Cox, Aaron Donald being unanimous, and Ndamukong Suh. Linebacker, Chandler Jones, Luke Kuechly, Khalil Mack, and Von Miller being unanimous. Linebacker, Bobby Wagner and Patrick Willis. At cornerback, Patrick Peterson, Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman. Safety, Eric Berry, Eric Weddle, and Earl Thomas. Defensive back, Chris Harris Jr. and Tyrann Mathieu. Punter, Shane Leckler and Johnny Hecker. Kicker, Steven Gostkowski and Justin Tucker. Punt returner, Tyreek Hill, Darren Sproles. Kick returner, Devin Hester, Cordero Patterson. And head coaches, Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll. So, does somebody want to start us off on this? Or I know I can do it because I definitely have some thoughts.
Go for it.
All right. First of all, and I actually am glad I got this one first because being a New England Patriots fan and all of us being New England Patriots fans.
Except Matt.
Except Matt. Yeah, my bad.
Minus Matt. Go Giants.
Yeah, right. The first name that comes to mind, and yes, I do feel like I'm being a little bit of a homer when I say this, is Devin Mccourty.
Yeah.
Devin McCourty's been an absolute stud more or less his whole career, which just so happened to start in the 2010 draft. He was the first-round pick of the New England Patriots in the 2010 draft. I specifically remember being on a cruise, a Royal Caribbean cruise, and we were watching it at a sports bar, and it was during Massachusetts school vacation week. So we were sitting with a bunch of Massachusetts people, and we're all chanting, Dez Bryant, we want Bryant. Yeah. And then they go, defensive back, Devin McCourty of Rutgers. And we're all just like, shit. Like, this guy's going to suck. Yeah. Devin McCourty, in my opinion, should be on the All-Decade team. Looking at his stats right now, he played 155 games. He started 155 games, 26 interceptions, 1 pick six, and I actually can vividly remember it.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
772 combined tackles and 1 forced fumble, 6 fumble recoveries. He was selected to the Pro Bowl twice and was never a first-team All-Pro. So, yes, I can understand why that might keep him off. Look, I think this guy was a stud. Still is a stud. But the problem is, to put one on, you have to pull one off.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And it was very hard for me to pick one of these, but if I could, it might be Tyrann Mathieu. And the only reason for that, now I think on their best day, Tyrann Mathieu might be a better player than Devin McCourty.
That's fair. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
They're very, very similar. I think they're both more defensive backs than they are strict corners and safeties because both of them came into the league as a corner and evolved to a safety. Tyrann Mathieu played a lot of years where he didn't actually play because he was injured, or if he did play, he didn't play very much. He only had, in my opinion, 1 or 2 years where we were really like, okay, this is the best safety in the league. Devin Mccourty, we may not be able to say it's the best pure safety in the league, but in terms of being an Ed Reed, Paul Krause type center field safety, Devin McCourty is one of the best out there. Another name that I just want to give maybe a little honorable mention, couple names I want to give a little honorable mention to are another safety who I think got gypped a little bit, and that's Harry Hitman Smith for the Vikings, who I think is another stud player, great safety, and Aqib Talib. The problem is you only have 3 cornerback positions. If I could take Chris Harris off as a defensive back, now correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Chris Harris played safety. So I don't know why.
I think they're using the defensive back as because Tyrann Mathieu is like an inside the box safety, like linebacker hybrid.
That's what I'm saying.
Chris Harris is a nickel cornerback. So it's like,
exactly.
I guess that's like the weird specialist defensive back position.
No,
I guess that's how they're looking at it.
And I get that. And so the reason it's hard for me to say Aqib Talib is I can't justify taking Patrick Pearson off for Aqib Talib. Definitely can't justify taking Darrelle Revis off for Aqib Talib or Richard Sherman.
No.
Mike, what about you? What are your thoughts on this? Who's on, who's off?
So I think a lot of people like to complain about lists. That's the big thing. Everybody wants to talk about lists and who deserves more, who's wrong, who's right. I think for the most part, this list is very well put together, and there's not a lot of people I would take off or put on. I had a couple things that maybe there's arguments for. I think there's an argument for Frank Gore over Marshawn Lynch, just because you had a couple years Marshawn wasn't playing. But again, Marshawn has that championship, so it puts him.
I don't think it's in order.
No,
I don't think it's in order.
It's not.
Yeah, just going down. Because going down the list, I said Frank Gore, Marshawn Lynch, LaShawn McCoy, and then Adrian Pearson's at the bottom, and Adrian Pearson's the only one voted unanimously.
Oh, I missed Frank Gore.
No, you're good. You're good.
My bad.
Why don't we come back to you then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jared, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, kind of echoing what Mike said. I think the list is pretty consistent to what I would create it as.
Okay.
I think Drew Brees got snubbed just a little bit. I'm not a huge Rodgers guy, so I'd probably put him over him. But, I mean, that's more or less how I'd make it.
So you won our fantasy league last year with Aaron Rodgers, right?
I did, yes.
Sure. You're not a huge Rodgers guy. Let's clarify. Aaron Rodgers won you like $140 last year.
I think I was going to take Brees, but I think Connor Duquette got him over me. I ended up beating Connor, but
yeah.
Oh, ain't that even funnier?
God, I got screwed so hard in the
Yeah, Greenblatt did not have a good draft.
I didn't come in last, and I'm happy.
Second round pick on Antonio Brown, which didn't work.
And Saquon. You got Saquon. Don't forget about that.
Saquon
I
was
lost
my first
all
rounder.
3 of my quarterbacks. I lost all 3 of my quarterbacks, and I lost 2 of my running backs.
Yeah,
It was
that
so
went well.
much fun to watch.
And 2 of my wide receivers, too.
All right, Matt and Sean, any thoughts on the list?
So for me, going back to my second fantasy pick, Mr. Antonio Brown, it feels a little weird for him to be on this list to me.
Really?
Yeah, because while he's a solid player, and there's a reason why he was my second round pick, I don't know, controversial?
So it's
I got the
Adrian
skills.
Peterson.
True.
Yeah.
Adrian
Same.
Peterson's known
Yeah, that's
spring chicken either.
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no. The thing is, the
I
problem.
see where you're coming from, though. Sorry.
I definitely see. I'm not arguing at all that I don't see where you're coming from. The problem is when Antonio Brown kept his mouth shut and just went to work and played football, he was probably the best player on the field every time.
Fantastic player.
100%.
So it's the Terrell Owens factor.
Yeah.
It's an argument. Why didn't T.O. get voted into the Hall of Fame first ballot? Well, because he destroyed 4 locker rooms. So I
That's
don't
my
know.
Quarterback.
You tell me. Yeah. No, I can definitely understand why Antonio Brown might run a few red flags, but you also have to look at Adrian Peterson, who
Yep.
did do something questionable with the stick. Marquise.
Oh, Tyreek.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill's
yep.
on there, who's done some questionable things. Marquise Pouncey, nobody wants to know what he does on the weekends. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Wait, Tyreek Hill isn't on this list.
what do you say?
Special teams. He's a
Special
he's a-
teams.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, no, I
Tyreek.
complete. All right.
Sean, thoughts? Sean, we lost you.
Of course we did.
No, we're good. I
Nope,
got
we
you.
can hear you.
Sorry, whatever. Anyways, I thought they did a good job overall at the list. I do think snubbing Breeze wasn't the right move. I mean, he's got the most passing yards in NFL. I know he's played 2 decades, kind of like Brady, but he's had a pretty good decade overall. Granted, he won the Super Bowl at the end of the last one, but I honestly thought Breeze should have been on there, and I kind of agree, Rodgers. I think he's a great quarterback, but I just think Breeze is better what it comes down to.
No, I do too. The problem is I would add another quarterback spot. And if you can
Yeah,
add another
I would
quarterback
do that
spot,
too.
there's
That's
no
fair.
question.
It goes to Breeze, no question.
Yeah.
Can we just come back to me for this last one real quick, just so I can get my actual? I had an actual one that I forgot that I got
Yeah, of
cut
course.
out for.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I think the only one that I would say I would change, like actually change, I put Jimmy Graham over Travis Kelce. And
Good one.
And it's only because Travis Kelce, he's only played 6 years, and Jimmy Graham's done it for the full 10. If you look back at the decade, just from the 2010 to 2019 season, Jimmy Graham's first in receiving yards for tight end, and he's second in touchdowns, just a couple behind Gronk. So he's although he tailed off the last couple years, and he was having 400, 500-yard seasons, he still dominated the beginning half of the decade, doing the exact same thing that Kelsey's doing. It's just more recent.
Oh, I definitely agree. I would put Jimmy Graham over Kelsey. I honestly didn't think about that when I thought tight end. I thought, wow, they didn't put Antonio Gates on.
Yeah, I thought that a little bit too.
Yeah.
That was a weird one.
But I don't think Antonio Gates was nearly as dominant in the last 10 years as he was
No,
in the first 6 or 7.
kind of tailed off.
Yeah.
And
All
you could argue that Kelsey, like, if you're gonna go all around tight end, and that's why you're deciding to put Gronk on there, like, Kelsey's a better blocker, obviously.
because
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham couldn't block.
No.
But if you're going like talent, like Jimmy Graham was a better talent. So over the decade than Travis.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.